Okay, so to solve this problem of these zones being in front of each other, the good solution is for me to basically restructure the windows. They need restructuring anyway, but the other solution might be to not do that. But to make zones a special case, if it's possible. Can't actually tell. I do this get gadget at mouse XY. And if there's a way inside and I start at root, yeah, okay, where is me? Get gadget. Mouse XY. Local G gadget equals self. Why on earth do I do it that way? That's a very silly thing to do, a strange thing to do. Oh, state equals covered. Okay. If you're in the face of the gadget, go through the kids backwards. And yeah, do this. If G is greater or less than self, G equals get gadget XY. So this rattles through the tree and finds which gadget the mouse is currently covering. And what I want it to say is, if this is a type gadget the mouse can't actually cover, then what am I really trying to say? Here I'm saying so for every gadget, if the mouse what? What on earth? Okay. Right, I see the logic here. God, I'm having to remind myself. Because it starts at root, and the root covers the screen, it basically says, yeah, the mouse is definitely over the root. Quickly look through my kids and see if actually the mouse is inside any of my kids. And if it is, then it's get gadget belongs to it's going to return G get gadget is theirs. But I want to change that slightly, so to speak. Yeah, so it'll then go to the child of this gadget, go through all of theirs, and so on and so forth, until it gets to the gadget that the mouse is definitely over, quite quickly eliminating ones it can't be over. to say is I want a situation where getGadget can actually return null. It's only come here if the mouse is over it. But if it gets to here and it finds that the mouse is over it and none of its children, yeah, this is why local G is gadget self, is because it might not be G by the end of it. Can I do this? What I really want to say is something like, now the way I'll make this work is clunky, I think, but if self now it's something like is sensitive, because really what I want it to mean is, does the mouse look straight through this gadget? And the way that I will do that is in a very bad way. I will say method is sensitive bool virtual return true end. And then anything that I don't want to be sensitive, subgadgets are a horrible thing that should not exist, such as root gadget. I'm going to take away, I think, all of those. I say method is sensitive bool override return false. I don't have to add anything to any other gadget. They all say yes, I'm sensitive, but anything I don't want to be sensitive, I can add that to. Is that in any way sensible, or am I just being a fool? So, if self is sensitive, right, no, if G is greater or less than self, then yeah. Otherwise, if self is sensitive, what is it I'm really thinking here? Because what I want is for it to dive back down through the tree to whatever the last thing that it definitely sensed was. And what will be the last thing? Like now, what happens when it returns null? Like if I oh god, so I'm saying because it may be that when I call this I get back null, which is to say I have gone into an unsensitive gadget and entered nothing else. So I actually have to do something different here as well. I have to say if G equals, okay, so at the moment I've got down here and I've said the mouse is inside one of my child gadgets. So it should be that gadget. Unless if G is sensitive equals false, G equals self. But here I'm saying if it is the self, and if it does equal false, G equals null. No, no, no. It's if G equals null. So G is get gadget. G could be a zone, and that's fine, because if whilst in getting that gadget, it enters another gadget which is a child of that zone, and it doesn't enter another gadget, and it is sensitive, then it gets G. If it doesn't, it gets itself. But what if it goes into a zone, finds no other gadget, then it returns itself, and if itself is not sensitive, here I also have to say if self is sensitive equals false, G equals self, G equals null. No, hang on. No, it's if sensitive self, G equals self. Is that what it is? So I've come into a zone, looked through the kids, found there is a child that I'm within, gone to get that gadget, found that that is the only gadget that it's within because it has no children, so it gets back in and G equals self this time, is sensitive as false, so it returns null. So back down in this gadget, I get null back, and I find I am not sensitive, so I send back null. And that happens until something sensitive is found, and that gets returned. This is a bit of a bugger of extra bit of logic for every single flipping thing, although when I look at this I think, yeah, who cares, it's doing logic. Logic is... I mean... if G equals null and self is sensitive, I think that that is the logic. I come in to root, I go, yeah, mouse is over me, this is true. I don't know if this mouse over thing, yeah, that mouse over thing does remain true. Really, it only comes in here if it's already figured out that you're in the gadget. So let's say there are no gadgets created, there's only the zones, and it finds it's inside the alert zone. Okay, no, this is still not going to work. Oh my god, because it doesn't just... This will return null, and the root will think that's fine, I am the covered gadget. When that's not what I want it to do, I want it to proceed. Arg. Let me think again. Again. 15 minutes in, and this is just not going to do it. When I think about it, in the situation I've got set up, it comes in looking at, sorry, God, I must not get confused here, because that peak gadget is important. Oh, me, in fact, yeah. Peak gadgets, yeah, peak gadget doesn't update any of the mouse stuff, man. This is it's just bad, really. But okay, let me think again. So this returns null, but like... Right, the logic needs to be somewhere different. G equals C. If it's in there, this will potentially slow it down. It might make zones slow it down, but what I'm thinking is I might put this logic in here. At the moment I wait till I'm out here before exiting, but actually if I put the logic here and still exit when it's complete, I don't think that's a problem. But what actually happens, I'm saying, right, I am in it. So this is C is the current gadget, which is to say I've gone through the children of whatever gadget this was called on, and I've found I am inside one. So now because I'm going through it backwards as well, I do have to exit once I find one. But yeah, I just do the logic in here, I think. G equals C. Or rather, I say... Or do I? What can I do instead? I can say, I'll just do that. What if I say... G equals... C get gadget x comma y So if that happens to be a zone, it doesn't enter another gadget. Oh me oh my. If it happens to be a zone, it doesn't enter another gadget, it's gonna return null. If it is another gadget, then I exit and return it. But if G equals null, then I have to look to myself. I don't believe how confusing that is. God damn. If G equals null, if self is sensitive, oops, G equals self. Otherwise it remains null. Because yeah, we've decided you are in the gadget, but there's a chance that gadget's irrelevant. Have a look through its kids. If you find one and it doesn't return null, then it is sensitive. And so you may exit okay, hang on a sec. No, hang on. So imagine again, I come into root. I find that top gadget by going backwards through its children. I see that I do not hit one of its children. So I return myself, except I don't do that. I say if G equals null, then okay, I've gone into a gadget and I've found that actually I didn't hit one of its children and it itself is not sensitive. So even if I am not sensitive, I do have to check my other children. So it's like if G comes back null, then it's kind of out here. The state inactive could be anded into this, obviously, because of the order of it, but it's just a thing I have to do in activity. If it is, hang on a sec, what if it's inactive? Oh well, at the moment, yeah, the gadget is itself, so that's... Hang on a sec. There might be a slicker way of doing this, but let me think about what exactly I'm doing. I don't think I want to say that. I want to say this equals get gadget. Then out here, I want to say if G exit. Then down here, actually what is sensitive would be good to return is either null or self. Because then I could just say gadget equals self is sensitive and it'll return itself, so it'll be itself, or it'll return null. No, that's no good, because I need to use it right there. That doesn't make sense at all. I was hoping to avoid a little decision here. Or rather, here, because because if it gets here, then what's happened is it's looked through all its kids and found nothing. And I want to be able to say if self is sensitive equals false, G equals null. I think. So what on earth happens now? How have I managed to skip? Well, I suppose all the logic then was if G is greater or less than self, get gadget. Now I'm saying get gadget right there. And if it comes out of there, oh no, 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 no. Actually, if G is greater or less than self, no, no. Okay. Right. A little bit of changing around here. I think this is just like, I just want to record self mouse over, yeah. If self state equals state normal, self state equals state cover, I think that's okay. And set the self mpos. Now actually gadget equals null. And I say if G exit here, because I go then through the children, not associated, so this was just me using G. I didn't, it's, don't tell me this, oh no, G, okay, yeah, self and self. I think that's okay now, friend, yes. Now I say gadget equals null. If X is, oh god, okay. So I want self again here. Do I? That is what G is at this time. Was I just being extremely lazy? And I think it's probably just the way the function grew as I decided the things it had to do. Go through each of the kids backwards. As long as they're not inactive and it's within them. Do the same thing, which is to say, check it out. If you go in there to the child gadget G, sure, yeah, it gets its mouse over, it's within it. And it's within its face significantly. Man, oh man, this is going to cause me problems. I just know it. I might just have to get super careful about using zones and make panels, invisible panels, the thing I should think about. Oh boy. But anyway, okay, so come in, look at my own face. Find I'm hitting nothing in that face. This is null. I think this reverses. Finding hitting nothing in that face. I am sensitive, so I return myself. Or if I'm not sensitive, I return null. In which case, this gets null back and keeps looking back through the children. Finds no children, or no, if I'm sensitive, I return myself. Now to me that's beautiful logic. Looks cleaner than it did before. To this computer and the actual logic of true reality, having just hit 30 minutes. Well, I got past cementing. I can't believe that. Usually I expect 1,000 spelling errors at least. Or little things I'm just doing wrong in bits of the code I've forgotten about. Oh boy, what do I really expect? I expect a crash. I expect a memory access violation. For just not based on anything other than experience of what happens when I play around with code I've not thought about for a long time. But ideally, the gadgets should spring back into life. I should be able to click straight through zones, zones being the only things that would ever say I'm not sensitive. I feel like the logic is cleaner. No. Okay, well, it ran at 4 frames a second. Okay, absolutely not. So, what happens? Okay, like most obvious things first. Insensitive is sensitive, returns true, except in the case oh, I put that in a root gadget. That's the first stupid thing I did. See this? Okay. First, idiotic. I always remember to check the bloody obvious things you've probably... When I say you, I'm talking to you, Angus. You in the future. Always remember to check the bloody obvious things you've probably done wrong. So now, maybe, I don't know, I have no faith in my... When there's so many little bits of logic happening, I tend to disbelieve they can't affect each other through quantum tunneling or something. Let's see. No. Oh. Something happened, but I got bring to front, node, parent, children, add last self, okay? Straight up memory access violation. Now that's pretty baffling. It means that a thing without a parent has had bring to front called on it. And I think the only thing that can be root. But root has somehow had bring to front called on it. I guess I can say or not root, or parent equals root, sorry. I think that's what I was saying before. I don't think that's... I don't think that's good. Oops, no, hang on. Forget that. Or parent equals null. Sorry. If that means that somehow something is being set, because when am I calling bring to front on parent if I'm only calling it on another gadget? And if parent equals root, let's just see. I don't like doing that kind of thing when I don't know why. It's not recognizing. And it's not just because my frame rate is so low. It's not picking up clicks. It's not crashing. But it's not sensing mouse clicks. Now, why on earth would that be? Am I using like peak? Where is get gadget and peak gadget? Like peak gadget, I must be using peak gadget somewhere because it's going to return different things. See, find, next. And here, search. No, it's not there I'm looking for. That is it, peak gadget. I only use it in search, and search is in string field. So it's not peak gadget. For some reason, this little bar has always stayed here and I can't get rid of it. One little second. That's better. Okay, so I don't think it's peak gadget. Now my problem here is that the button's lit up. So they entered a covered state. Okay, they entered a covered state for sure. I don't see why. Self face left, self face right, self face top, self face bottom. By this point, G was just self. This bit was only actually, actually I'll maybe take this out from there. In fact, I would definitely, well, it belongs out from there. Not sure that that's the thing that makes the difference, but it does belong outside of there. Because you have to be able to click on a window edge. But I don't think that's the thing that's solved that button problem. No. I would have been surprised if it was. In some, like I'm getting such low frame rates, and it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I suppose 6 over 5, that's, I'm going to turn the debugger off. It's going to take a while to compile. I'm going to turn the debugger off because I want to see if something that I've done has apparently made it much harder work for it. I don't feel like it has. I feel like actually this logic's not that different. Obviously something is different about it. actually just stop. This is if not G and. This is like, yeah, you didn't find a child. Try again. I think that might be the thing that makes the difference. If I could make this work like this, it'd be kind of sweet. I would have to think more. Yeah, I'd have to get used to the idea that zones are for clicking through. Okay. Well, I don't want to get too excited. Gadget setup called with root as parent. Okay, that is me opening those little bad boys. I'm still able to access root from these. These are more like standard gadgets. The integer and the float requesters are just there in GUI, so they can access root. I need to just make that null or desktop, because null will send it to the desktop. Here's the big problem. Here's the render options. Gadget setup called with root as parent, redirected to desktop zone. There's the desktop, there's the render options. Let's look at that. That's a problem to say the least. So, can things just go to the alert zone? Yeah, okay. Well, that's not the end of the world. I think maybe they can go to the alert zone. Going to the alert zone doesn't mean entering an alert mode. It just means that things will and should always appear on top of Windows. This also appears fine. This, yeah, that, okay. I need to have alert zone, because there the windows appearing behind everything. Here, that's okay. Here it's going to the desktop. The desktop there's fine. I can put this here, plop that there, and it's behind it. Oh man. Something about clicking through the zones has made me very pleased. I think that it's that. Can I grab the window in there? Yes, I can. Sweet. I think it's that I had always seen zones as being really opaque in that way, and if that little simple trick works, of being able to say, sure, yeah, but in general, gadgets always say they're sensitive, but you can get them to say they're not. So, next thing I want to think about is volatile panels going not to be redirected to the desktop zone, but to go to the alert zone. And let me just go straight for these ones first. My beautiful and horrendous gadget class. I'm so sort of, if this is going to work, I'm so slightly pleased with it that I will be tempted to just maybe do a little update to the GUI in general, like, because that's such a simple way to deal with certain problems. But no, I won't. Because I won't do that whole thing because of certain good reasons. Am I even just requesting? Because actually I see that when I open an integer float request or whatever, I ask for a parent. Ah, yeah. There was a time I didn't do that. If not p equals root. No, if not p equals alert zone. What did I call it? I called it alert zone. If not p equals alert zone. That's one thing. But also it means that it must be everywhere else that I've got float, integer and string. In recursor, when I do bloody anything, let's say when I have a response from the GUI and I pass null, right, so now it should send it to the alert zone. Every time I pass null, it should send it to the alert zone. Let me look at some of these other ones. Where do I call set up volatile, and I set it and I call it with parent? Man. So in draw mode options, in response, set paper color, color request null, null, null. Yeah, okay. I think that me having done that thing of saying when null, send to alert zone might just be the thing, because I was basically calling them all null, and that, yeah. I had the opportunity to send them to root. Yeah, interesting. I'm going to have to look out for leaks. Okay. That one still doesn't work. The menus. GUI. Menu root. What do I have? Response or something? Work. Released on menu root root. Not root. Nothing should ever go to root. This should go to alert zone. Oh, I want to do something else there as well. I want to be able to pass a width to opening the menu. Quite important. That one works unsurprisingly. That works. And these work. Now, let me have a little look at Task Manager. It's still looking normal. I'm concerned about things stacking up behind gadgets. Like, I should just do a gadget count somewhere. Like, display a gadget count and just make sure it doesn't just keep on just racking up hundreds of gadgets. And if I move this over here and do this, yeah, it works perfectly. Those have nothing in them. And I can open draw mode gradient. I can continue to edit this, and these never pass behind. I keep 60 frames a second. I am running in release mode, always with FFmpeg running, though I'm more cautious. I'll be dropping a lot of frames now. Well, not a lot, actually. Well, okay, wow, and now it looks lovely with these things still able to be open, and I can just apply or cancel at any time. And I can't open another? No, I can't open another. 42 megabytes, like... Is it going to creep up? Like, I'm not surprised it's bumped up a bit. I added a spot there, and adding a spot adds a whole load of extra things. 45 frames a second. fair, I don't know if it worked. I suppose it might be it. The thing that I remember though is I was having problems. Like this is apparently the gradient. Oops, I don't even have space to display it all. It's really dropping frames now. Wow, it really doesn't like that so much. And I bet that this is complaining like hell. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, I'm still having a problem here. Apply. Apply. Did I just add another? What did I do there? Move something? Okay, well, this is real weird. Like that is just really, really weird. That's the top of the... God damn, that is the top of the gradient. Just totally showing through. And I'm fairly mystified by it. I'm really, really fairly mystified by it. But, well, one thing is, I'm not... What happened there? Look at that. One thing is, I'm not really very confident that's all worked that well. It's like, why? Let's say I just make this bloody red. Gradient set editor needs to remember its last size. Apply that. Have another look, it's fine, it's there. That is extremely annoying. Apply that. Now cancelling from here actually shouldn't get rid of... Well, let's have a look. Yeah, no, that's what I expected. Okay. Cancel, cancel, render still. Cursor image, do it. Like it's done it. How many? 8 recursions. That seemed to take a long time. I don't know, sometimes, yeah. And that time it did. Okay, this is puzzling. And I've been at it 55 minutes. I call some good successes. I'm pleased now with the way the fact that there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 4. This is not great frame rates I'm getting here. And I slightly... Yeah, you know, I am occasionally worried that, oh, I'm drawing too much GUI stuff, but then, you know, I add a bunch of GUI stuff, it jumps back to near 60. That's an FFmpeg thing. I'm beginning to be sure of it. Anyway, at the moment. I call this on the whole a real success. I'm delighted to be able to have multiple windows open, have them truly separate to the rest of the GUI. I feel like it's a pretty elegant way I've got of distinguishing whether or not a gadget is something that will ever actually be touched, and it seems to completely work. Zones are now invisible to the mouse. That is open already, so that's fine. This can be opened and everything is great. So I will investigate the issue with the, I don't know, with